Date, January 21st, 2025. 11:36 a.m. Oh, p.m., my bad. Subject, thoughts on the day. Today was my first day off with my 13-week boot camp journal. I must say I'm so used to sleeping in on my days off and scrolling my life away on my phone. But today was different. I felt as though I had a duty to uphold, momentum to keep, and an allergy to disappointment. When I was awoken by my alarm clock on my phone at 8 a.m. sharp today, there certainly was a part of me that wanted to march under those warm covers, shielding myself from that frozen tundra. But instead of succumbing to my base instincts of rest and worry about the day later, I pushed myself onward to the kitchen to start my day off with an ice-cold cup of water. And another, until the chills running through my insides brought me alive like an electric wire. I was ready to make the day shockingly good. I returned to my room, grabbed my 13-week journal, turned to the next daily planning day page, and got to work. And that was my journal entry for the day. I just wrote a few minutes ago. Current time's 11:52. Really does fly by, doesn't it? That's why you gotta spend it wisely, at least in my opinion. And, well, would you look at that? Turns out, I did everything I said I was going to do today. Well, wouldn't you think about that? Very nice, very nice. And what did I do today exactly? Well, of course, I had to start the day off with what I was grateful for, because a positive mindset starts with a positive attitude. And so, the things that I chose to be grateful for today was not going back to bed by choice, getting straight to work on my journal, and having easy access to clean drinking water. I think that's crucially important and something that we here in the States, especially in the more developed countries, take for granted. Very nice that we have that. My goal, stick to my video editor goal, my draftsman goal, and my negative 40-pound weight goal, while also optimizing work schedule and notes. And as you can see, compared to yesterday, this is yesterday's notes. Today's notes, I think, are a bit more improved. They're more clearly defined, more blocked out, and easily discernible. Now, of course, there is room for improvement, and an idea I'm having is actually doing it in columns instead of blocks, I guess. Anyways, so what were today's targets? Well, 20 minutes of Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial, which is watch the tutorial that I watched yesterday, and then continue taking notes, which I'm sure you saw I did. 20 minutes of shape and line exercises, which means I have to find a good line and shape exercises to do that will strengthen my understanding of the craft. And then log meals throughout the day. I'm not going to try some crazy diet. I'm just going to eat whatever's on hand that seems like it'll fill my gullet without causing me too much distress. Log it into my health app and hope for the best. What will make today great? Positive goal. They say that if you have a goal that you're working towards, that you constantly keep at the forefront of your mind every single day, then you're practically already there. You're just, the environment's morphing itself around you to accommodate for that positive mindset, attitude, and goal that you have chosen to work towards. That's what I understand. And what I wrote, what will make the day great? Continuing my goals to strengthen my skills so I can make a living doing what I love. Another thing that will make today great is to become a good collaborator of time management with my locked in duties. Yes, so the locked in duties we already know it's editing, drawing, and health, general well-being and health, and figuring out how to really hone all three of those to ensure a very healthy life. So now we have reached the block schedule portion, and as you can see, it starts at 6, but I woke up at 8, and when I got to work on I actually, from what I remember, I think my mom woke me up to eat breakfast, or did I wake up, start working on my journal, and then my mom, yes, that's what happened. I woke up, I started working on the journal, and my mom called me in for breakfast, and I went in to do the breakfast, and I think I actually got to this point right here, the second target for the day, before I was called in to eat an egg on toast, a piece of bacon, and I think that's about it. Cup of coffee. Yeah. And it was good. Very good. You could taste the love in every bite. All right. So once that delicious meal was done after 8, it took about I guess 2 hours, because it was I woke up at 8 and I was working on the journal for half an hour, I would say, or 30 minutes. 30 minutes to half hour, somewhere around there. And then at 9 is when my mom finished making breakfast and called me in to eat with her. And during that whole time, there was a lot of chatter, a lot of talking, which I love. I love having conversations with my mom about anything, really. It's such a beautiful thing to have a great relationship with your mom and any relative or anyone, really. And that's time that you have to cherish and enjoy, because maybe one day, things might be different. But so that's why you've always got to be in the present and enjoy the present. After finishing breakfast, we did have these tarts as sort of like a dessert. And I must say, I did not like these tarts. They were from Panera Bread, and they were the cherry flavor and the chocolate croissant flavor. They literally tasted like plastic. It was not the bee's knees, let me tell you. I am never having another pastry from them ever again. I even hesitate to call it a pastry. I'd call it more of a edible plastic toy, because that's what it tasted like. Anyways, enough harping on Panera Bread. Yeah, just sharing some strong opinions, I guess. After that, I realized I wanted to continue developing my journal. And my mom was like, "You're right, let me get out mine." Or she got out hers and we started to work. She noticed that mine is far more structured in terms of the questions asked in both the daily segments and the weekly segments. And she wanted to copy those segments, those questions, like today I'm grateful for, today's strategies, what will make today great, all in her journal. The only problem was her journal wasn't really ever designed to have those things in mind. So she ended up having a very less than ideal experience, and she felt like the journal just left up way too much room open for interpretation. The planner, I should say, not journal. And it ultimately over inundated her with stress and worry about what exactly to do with it. So she ended up leaving it and just, starting working on things immediately. She was doing some housework. Well, I was finishing up the journal, and well, actually, yeah, she went to the restroom. I don't know if I should say that, but that's what happened. So I'm just keeping it real. Sorry. As I was finishing up the journal, and I must say, my honest feelings during that whole, because I was expecting to journal with her, and those expectations did not meet the reality. And so, because of that, I felt like I was left out in the cold. But hey, everyone's mind works differently. And sometimes when the minds don't meet or see face to face, it does sting a little bit, but then you gotta remind yourself that that's just how life is sometimes. You gotta roll with it and not let it bother you too much. So that's what I did. And I continued developing what I was going to do from like 10 o'clock, because at the time I was working on it was like 9:30, all the way to 2. And then after that, I assume it would have been like a free-for-all, or I'm making the list up as I go along, because on my days off, like when I'm given complete and total freedom, I honestly don't know what to do with it. And so I just kind of stick to small little things to do, little atomic habits to slowly form, and hope that eventually, with consistency, practice, and a genuine interest shown in those habits, magic will happen. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. But I put in 10 o'clock, perform mobility stretches, which I think is extremely important. If you can't do mobility stretches every day while you're still young, you're basically investing in bad stock for your body, because you're guaranteeing yourself to have very stiff joints and muscles going forward. And I feel like it's extremely important to just get your body to move all the time as soon as you open your eyes, or at least as soon as you have accommodated to the day and you're awake and aware and ready to rock and roll. So anyways, after that 30-minute cycle, I vowed to do my 30-minute cycle, and I'm not going to stop. And I felt it was very important to do the 30-minute cycle immediately after the mobility stretches, because after that my body's like loosened up and ready to go. Transfer vacation photos and videos to USB drive, which I did, but that took way longer than expected. In fact, there was plenty of unexpected roadblocks today that kept me from completing the schedule on time. For example, for the 30-minute cycle, I wanted to listen to a playlist on my YouTube app while cycling to kind of help make the ride more exciting and fun. But the problem was that the app, when I went to change the songs on the playlist, I hit the play button. It played the first song of the playlist that I moved from first to like lower last. And I was like, what the heck? Why did it do that? That is so strange. So I was fiddling around with that until eventually I realized, oh, you need to click the playlist, and as soon as the video starts playing, then that's when you can move them around to get it to where you want it to be. So that ate up like 20 minutes of my time, and at that point in time it was like 10:35, and by the time I figured it all out, it was like 10:42. Yeah, that was the first roadblock. The next roadblock was transfer vacation pictures and videos to USB drive. What made this one a roadblock was my computer constantly needs to be updated, constantly needs to be maintained. And so as soon as I opened it up, oh, you have driver updates. Oh, by the way, Norton Utilities, we're the people who give you antivirus protection software, and we're going to throw an ad at you to tell you to buy our extra utilities program, please. And then I clicked X on that, but then they said, hey, have a free trial. I was like, well, I can't argue with free, but of course they want you to put in your payment information, so when the free trial ends and they're hoping you forget you subscribe, they get your money. But of course, I know how they work. They're depending on you to forget. And so I don't fall for that baloney. As soon as I subscribed for that free trial, which lasts 30 days, I immediately went on the website and I clicked the unsubscribe button. And of course they were doing everything they could to keep me in. Oh no, why are you leaving? Oh, it's too expensive? Oh, don't worry, we'll apply coupon for your first payment installment. Oh, no, you're still leaving? Well, we'll extend it for another 30 days. They were doing everything they could to keep me on that service. I really only wanted it because my computer was acting pretty slow and I needed to move files out of my computer so I could upload the massive file sizes of the pictures and videos onto the computer so I could upload those onto the USB thumbstick. And yeah, it just was a whole process that lasted way longer than I was expecting. I think, side note for future me, next time I decide to do anything at all that has to do with my computer, I should have like a 30 half-hour prep time ready to go to ensure that everything's good. And if I finish early than that, then, no harm, no foul. And that'll be more extra free time for me for later in the day. But yeah, very long story. Next, we have the transfer vacation photos video thing actually took from 11:30 all the way to 5:26 p.m. by the way. So the reality did not meet the expectations due to all the baloney bending I had to do. Next, we have develop a note-taking system, which I had planned for around 11:30 after the pictures and videos were transferred, but due to it being an ongoing process that practically took the whole day due to the large file sizes that needed to be imported, I had to work on the whole thing throughout the day. So there you go. At 1:30 p.m. when I figured all that baloney out, I had developed a note-taking system. And basically, I realized that my notes from yesterday were not what I wanted them to be. I mean, they're not bad. They show that I'm thinking. They show that I'm trying to develop myself. But at the same time, they're a little too disorganized, a little too chaotic for my taste. So I was trying to find like a good guide on YouTube for creating good notes. And I found this guy who basically had 3 separate notebooks. He had his like daily thankful journal where it had a set list of questions that are similar to the questions I have on my daily pages of my journal. He even had a blank notebook where he just scribbled down like, monkey brain ideas as he described them. I forget the name of the YouTube channel and the person talking about it, but I'm just going off what I remember. Yeah, and then the third panel was like random ideas. We go from craziest to least crazy, and then we kind of like go through different passes. Like the first pass, we write out all the crazy ideas. Then the next pass, we circle the ones that we still like but still aren't 100% sure on. And then finally, the last pass is we highlight the ones that we for sure are now going to schedule to do for our creative workflow. That's what this guy was talking about in his video. And of course, it was a lot. It was complex. But one of the things I liked from the video, the big takeaway, is never confuse complexity with brilliance. In fact, simplicity is the ultimate form of brilliance, because if you can make something simplistic and easy to understand, then ultimately it's going to click much better for you. Sure, complexity is still very important, but simplicity will make learning something new less intimidating, and thus be the starting point to complexity. I like to think of it as like baby developing in the womb, and if you ever see those like videos or representations, it starts as one cell, very simple cell, then it grows into a second cell, then a third and fourth and fifth and a sixth and a seventh, and then goes on and on until it's like a fully formed being. So that's a pretty awesome way to look at it, actually. That's a great idea. I literally just thought about that right now, just in my head. Wow, I guess I can offer some interesting insights. What do you know? Well, at least I like to think so. I don't know. I don't want to toot my own boat. Anyways, gotta stay humble. Gotta be humble. Humble. It's important. We're all in the same boat together. Anyways, I'm getting caught off track. Let's move on. We are now on Watch and Learn from Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial, which I finished at 10:30 p.m. Why so late? Well, we'll get into that. In fact, we'll get into it right now. After developing the note-taking system, my mom wanted me on hand for help, for the taking care of moving a lot of equipment, like tables and barbecues and mirrors from around the house to different locations for future use. For example, our grill leaks oil from like not like fire oil, more like food oil, like food fats, onto the pavement. And the problem is that the pavement is brand new installation. And so seeing those grease stains on brand new installed pavers is not the kind of sight my mom wants to see. So she wanted to move the barbecue to the back of the house, so that way we could have it and also put like a little mat underneath the grill. So if grease did fall on that mat, it wouldn't be such a big deal because it's a old mat anyways, so it wouldn't be a big deal. What else? Oh yeah, mirrors. There's these big heavy mirrors we got for free from the neighbor that we've had packed away in like storage for a really long time. And my mom decided, let's take these and we'll move them in the back next to the grill, because apparently mirrors will deter flies from being around the area. That's what she told me. I guess I'm inclined to agree on that. And what else? Move table to front. So we had like a table that was taking up a lot of space in the back of the house, and we decided to move that to the front to figure out what we'd do with it later, because it was just taking up a lot of space and we weren't really using it at all. But of course, all of this kind of snowballed into just moving a whole lot more stuff and sweeping the floors and, gathering debris, throwing it away. My sister arrived when my mom left to do some errands, and we had like a good conversation about various subjects. Um, and I was eating Chex cereal because I was getting hungry. And then we greeted mom, and you know, I gotta be honest, when I'm working by myself with my mom, um, especially on like manual labor tasks, I should be like, let's do this. I'm so excited. I have a great attitude. But I gotta be honest, today I did not have a great attitude. I was like dragging my feet. I really didn't want to do it. And I think part of that was because I scheduled like things that I wanted to do and those other tasks that kind of held me back from doing the things I want to do. Like, and also waking up a little late, like waking up at 8. And then on top of that, 20 minutes for looking for how to move that playlist around, and then like an hour to figure out how to make my computer transfer and import photos from my phone to a USB thumbstick. So many little hindrances ultimately made it so I couldn't do those 20-minute exercises for editing and drawing like I wanted to. And so I think that was biting at the back of my brainstem and kind of bothering me, to be honest, like not being able to do that at that point in time. Yeah, that must have been it. I feel like if I would have gotten all my personal tasks done, I would have had a much better attitude working in the backyard. I mean, I wasn't like the worst thing ever. I wasn't like, I'm a monster. No, it was more like I was like, I'm tired and I've got so much stuff on my mind, and I would rather be finishing off those tasks than doing this task, because it feels like I'm doing like someone else's agenda instead of mine, even though it is, the household agenda. It's not my mom's agenda, it's the household, which means I live here, my mom lives here, we work together, we make sure everything is shipshape and good. And I really should have looked at it through that perspective, and also the perspective that the whole tutorial thing for both editing and drawing is only 40 minutes out of the whole day, and that could totally be done at the end of the day. And I just have this strict, rigid way of thinking, and when I don't have that, rigidness satisfied, it does bother me and rub me in the wrong way a little bit, I must admit. But, that's a me thing that I need to work on. Whew, that was a lot. Yeah, so my sister showed up, and it felt more lively because we had another helping hand. Oh, we swept the front yard, got rid of all these dry leaves that were on our pavement, moved wood around, threw old junk away that we didn't want, and overall it was a pretty productive day, I must say. Very much so. Yeah, I liked the company of my sister. I loved the company of my mom. It was a beautiful thing, gotta admit. And for dinner, I made crispy chicken strips from Sam's Club, or with the Members Mark brand, and we had delicious sweet potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes made by my sister and my mom. Mom boiled them, my sister mashed them and mixed it all together, and yeah, we ate it. It was really good. We had some pomegranate juice to go with it. Yeah, very satisfying meal. And then we finished the day together watching a whole lot of YouTube videos together as a family with a family friend. Yeah, we started off with UFOs that are egg-shaped, because I was like excited to see clear footage of UFO, and the footage that was shown in this documentary was really like it was green and fuzzy looking, and it just was a huge disappointment, not going to lie. But the guy in the video was like talking about like having bio spiritual connections with it, the craft and like meditation and like Project Stargate, and using your mind to connect with machinery on a spiritual level or something. It just kind of became very esoteric and a little off the wall. Yeah, I don't know about all that, but I mean, hey, I did watch a documentary where apparently highly autistic nonverbals children have the ability to telepathically communicate with their mothers. So who knows? Maybe there is something to this. I don't know. Life's got endless mysteries, that's for sure. Then we watched like a whole bunch of animal related videos, like spying robot animatronic animals being put into the wild, and seeing like animals confront these animatronics thinking they may be real or fake or not. And we cut to like the cameras from the eyeballs of the animatronics point of view to see what the creatures look like and how they behave. And it was like gorillas, which were very inquisitive creatures. The bears, which didn't really give a care. They were just kind of like, oh, this thing's clearly something's up with it, and I'm just gonna move around and continue with my day. And dolphins, where they just kind of sniffed at it and were staring at it inquisitively as well, and then just continued their day. Very fascinating, very interesting documentary footage. And then we watched a new Y-Files episode about evolution accelerated by radioactivity from Chernobyl. And apparently there's like certain genes that were dormant for long stretches of time that could withstand like certain types of radiation that awoken in animals. And it was, and then it carried on to like consciousness and like a cosmic quantum consciousness that binds us all together. It kind of went into very interesting, unique direction that I wasn't expecting, but it's very, very compelling, and I'd say it's definitely worth a watch if you have the time. Like 29 minutes. After that, we danced to the end credits song of the video, and then we saw my sister off. And then I decided to spend the rest of my time doing the last things on my journal I said I was going to do, which was to watch the Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial and take notes. As you can see, I did that. I was going to stop it there, but there was just so much that I continued on. Yeah, there was so much I learned from that. I guess I might as well read it to you now. Not only can you add shapes, you can choose its alignment in the footage. You can avoid overlapping clips by nesting clips together. Now, what is nesting? I would say like grouping them together, and then like they act as one clip, I would assume, based on what I watched and what I wrote down. Engage all senses of the human experience when editing, including sound. So when adding audio for ambience, adjust audio gain until it sounds just right. Fade out sound effects by the end of a video to feel more natural. So yeah, just purposefully edit audio with video to make the video feel more intentional and impactful. Alright, yeah. Pretty fair, pretty obvious stuff. Arrow keys help navigate keyframes. Duh. When green screening footage, you key out green and overlap keyed out footage when with your clip choice. I already know how to do that. Mix audio, so when moving from an indoor environment to an outdoor environment, the sound will reflect the environment. So, yeah, based on what is happening in the scene, ensure that your audio is purposefully reflecting what is going on. So it, that clicks within the lizard brain of your viewer. The viewer is going to be watching, and they may not notice it, but their brain sure did. Quoting YouTube legendary creator Mr. Plinkett, or just Red Letter Media. Check them out; they're awesome. Whew. Anyways, I selects everything in timeline. So the key letter I, so that's a hotkey right there. O selects endpoint of your video. So okay, all right. So you can adjust the name, file location, and quality of the video before exporting. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure when I was watching the video, I meant delete everything that is after the playhead. I don't know, maybe I'm confusing that with something else. Anyways, I guess I'm just going to have to look at my footage. I'm pretty sure I wrote that down on the previous one, though. Yes, I did. Q removes all footage before playhead. Oh, my bad. I did take the right notes. I selects everything in the timeline. O selects endpoint of your video. Okay. I was getting a little worried there, but after rechecking the old notes, now I have full confidence that that is not the case. Or that is the case, I guess. Anyways, you can adjust name, file location, and quality of your video before exporting. Duh, I already know how to do that, but that's good for beginners, so good on him for including that. And now we are on the new level, or new lesson, I would say. Color lessons, enter color space, workspace. Add LUT, conversion LUT, recolor 09 is fine. So now he's talking about how to do basic color correction to make your videos as eye-catching as humanly possible. You can adjust... Oh, and this is when I started to bulge out the notes because I was running out of space. You can adjust color lumetri scope, where form luma... You can adjust color lumetri scope, waveform, luma, and pay attention to color waveform as means of adjusting color correction. Okay, so I guess the color lumetri scope and waveform and luma, all that's very important to getting good color correction, apparently. Adjust exposure, but not before clipping the waveform. So in the editing program, you have this waveform, and if the top of the waveform looks like it's flattening, that's called clipping. And what that does is it introduces like crushed colors and like artifacting, and it makes your video look not good. All right, so when waveforms clip, we lose color information and we begin seeing artifacting. Not good. Color grading improves contrast in the image. Now, the creator made a point to say flat versus contrast really is up to preference, but an understanding and utilizing of color grading will make your footage appear more professional. That's a bit of interpretation on my part, but it was generally like in the realm of what he was saying. And he started to move on to the more nitty-gritty details, which I wanted to write down, but I was running low on time and I was busy like taking notes as he was talking, so I'm gonna have to continue those lessons tomorrow. And I mean that, tomorrow. So yeah, after that, I decided to look up a tutorial on line and shape notes, and I've got to be honest, this guy who calls himself Dr. Drawl should rename his channel to Doctor Needs to Learn How to Edit. And I mean, I'm sure he's a good artist, but his editing was so confusing and just didn't work at all. And I'll tell you why by talking about how I took notes. Okay, so things started off pretty normal. Divide paper in 4 sections. Okay. Draw scribbly little lines to loosen up. Sure. Fill the first square with squibbly lines. All right. Next square, there are 4 different types of lines to draw. The finger, the wrist, music interlude. And this went on for like 3 or 4 minutes. There was just music playing while he was talking, but you couldn't hear what he had to say, and you could just hear the music while he was like doodling like lines on the screen. And I thought it was like a joke, or like just, I don't know, his editor trolling him or something, or just incompetence on his end. And so I wanted to go in the comment section to see what someone had to say, and there was many people with the same problem as me. Obviously, I mean, it lasts for like 3 minutes, like the music interlude while he's like talking, and it looks like he meant to have his information reach the ears, but for whatever reason there was music covering his speech. And someone like brought up, why is your music covering your speech? And he said, oops, I forgot to do that, gotta remake this video, lol. And I'm like, if you're aware there's a problem, don't you have like the files on your computer to like re-edit the video to make it, you know, actually convey the information you're trying to convey? Oh, wouldn't you delete like the video that clearly has a problem and republish it fixed? I don't know. I felt like it was very strange. But anyways, I attempted to continue to write down what he had to say, which was learn to utilize your elbow or your shoulder when crossing lines together in a circle. So, you know, you've got to apparently use your shoulder or elbow, because artists say that's a great way of creating broad line strokes that are very well mannered, well controlled, and show confidence in your line work. And then after that, he said right-handed artists push their lines forward naturally, and then I put in brackets according to Dr. Drawl, because I'm not sure how scientifically true that is, so I want to just put that disclaimer there. In the 4th square, practice drawing parallel lines. Build line confidence. So I jumped to the 4th square. 3rd square was you draw a circle and then you draw lines and make sure they intersect with each other. And here's the funny thing. In my planning journal, as you can see right here, I said find good line and shapes tutorial, the little splotch right there, and then practice for 20 minutes. I did not feel comfortable writing find good line and shapes tutorial, because it wasn't a good video. It was a very poorly put together video. Sorry, but that is the truth. So I decided to look up another one, and let me see. I actually do have my journal here. Oh, and by the way, remember when I said yesterday that I realized that perhaps I should be using a pencil instead of a pen when doing this to really gauge how my lines are coming across? Well, there you go. Classic number 2 HB Dixon pencil. You don't see many of these lying around these days. Most of the time, I'm pretty sure like people just stick to their iPads and they have their digital pens. They don't even know what a real pencil looks or feels like anymore. But I must say, working with pencil on paper was very nostalgic. It definitely took me back. Made me feel like I was a kid back in middle school and high school again, instead of a 25 going on 26-year-old dude trying to get his life together. So, the tutorials that I found this time around, basically what the lady in the tutorial was suggesting was start out by doing parallel lines, and then do them at angles, and practice with your wrist and your elbow, and just do various different straight shapes like crosses, parallel lines, diagonal lines, horizontal lines, and try to find a way of drawing these lines that feels most comfortable to you. Then, of course, move on to squibbles and use your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder. And, I don't know, I feel like these are somewhat similar. Maybe it's because I'm just not loose enough yet. But, yeah, there you go. That's what that looks like. We're improving. We will continue to improve as the days go on. And of course, she said freestyle at the end, which was just to make a bunch of shapes. And actually, I remember doing something like this back in my second year of middle school, where they wanted you to make like a collage of shapes, just like going at it with each other. And so I made something like this. And I gotta be honest, that was like the most fun out of all of them, because it felt like I was given permission to just stretch my creative muscles instead of sticking to strict adherence of line work. But I guess I have to continue this if I really want to succeed with line confidence. So I guess I'll continue to do that until I feel comfortable with doing some good sketching and good line work with that. So there you go. After that, I wrote that journal entry. I read the beginning of the video. And with that, I decided to record the video diary that you are now watching. And it was a full day. It was a very productive day. Did it go according to plan? No. Am I satisfied with how the day ended up going? Yeah, I would say so. And I've got to be at work by 10 tomorrow, and I really want to wake up early so I can get a lot of things done. So that's what I'm going to do. And with that, that's the end of this video journal. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever time you're watching this. Take care, everybody. Bye.